Dum 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 dum, here is some Trews today, here is some Trews, here is some Trews today. The Trews today. Hello, I'm Russell Brand. Today I'm going to give you the true news so you don't have to invest any money in buying newspapers that charge you for the privilege of keeping your consciousness imprisoned in a tiny box of ignorance and lies. The Daily Mail. You may be thinking, how can this be new? Didn't that lady sadly die 20 years ago or something? Well, yes, that is true. But we're still trying to wring some information out of the poor woman's corpse? Yes, we are. Leaked royal phone book to get her revenge on Charles. What about, like, aren't you not meant to desecrate the dead? Isn't that the very premise of the play Antigone? That once someone's died, we're meant to honour them and treat them well. Really, I think that we just are a bit obsessed with Diana. Diana is an interesting media figure because of the archetypical role she's occupied. When she came to prominence, she occupied the archetypical role of the Virgin. People were interested in her purity. Remember that see-through dress, the Virgin. Then she became, when she had children, she was the archetype of the Divine Mother, because so that's another recognisable female archetype. Then, when she had questionable marital affairs, extramarital affairs as a result of her unhappiness, she was the cultural archetype of the whore. And then after her death, she became the archetype of the martyr, the saint. Each one of these archetypical roles don't afford woman the female sexual freedom. The virgin is sexless, the divine mother is sex for procreation, the whore is malevolent sexuality, and obviously a saint is an asexual transcendent entity. So any powerful woman has to be culturally desexualised for the maintenance of a patriarchal culture. There she was, that's when she was virginal, that's Diana in her virginal stage. There's the Queen looking away from her in this scene. Here's the, so in fact it's very basic pagan imagery. This is a powerful goddess icon here that I believe is at the palace, a flag at half-mast. I mean, this is literal semiotics, semaphore, the language of a flag, isn't it? Very interesting business, actually. Schumacher comment lands Hamilton in trouble again. Michael Schumacher, the tragically ill racing driver, is in the headlines because Lewis Hamilton, the other racing car driver, charioteers of the modern age, has said something about like possibly, you know, that everything happens for a reason, which is a sort of a belief system, predetermination. It's like one of the belief systems. Do you choose your own destiny, or is everything predestined? Some people think both things were simultaneously true, like Gandhi says, God controls the wind, but we set the sail, or whatever. You know, both things simultaneously true. So, like this sort of, Lewis Hamilton is inadvertently touched on this delicate area, and is being sort of condemned. I can't imagine what Lewis Hamilton was saying is that Schumacher deserves to be in that coma. People sort of like it when stuff like that gets said in a way. In our country, Glenn Hoddle, a football manager, has got some sort of Christian belief, where I imagine through the interview process he said something that seemed somewhat reductive. He said, like, you know, oh, you know, karma and the relationship between karma and disability. It's not my personal belief system, and I wonder if it's even Glenn Hoddle's. But what we do know is this sensationalist media is forever scouring the horizon, looking for sort of viscerally impactful tidbits to get excited about. And if they can't find those, well, a person looking like a parrot will do just as well. Here's a person looking like a parrot. Can we trust reality at all? Is it a parrot? Is it a person? Apparently this is a person that's been made to look like a parrot. Person made to look like parrot. What? A person? A parrot? Yeah, person parrot. Tesco are talking to us like fucking idiots now, I notice, with all this, isn't it? This oddly comforting thing. Look, what is this advert about? Fuel. Fossil fuels, which we all know, don't we, are really exacerbating the planet's decline. The exacerbation of climate change. Every little helps. It all helps to destroy the planet. And here's a little winky woo with a little sputtering of petrol. Boop boopy doo. They just don't want anything to change. Keep buying cars. Keep voting for the same politicians. Watch this lovely film. Maybe give a bit of money to charity if you can. A little valve. Let a little bit of the pus that's accumulating around your soul spurt a little bit of pus out onto the Syria crisis. Nigel Farage, a politician who's sort of a nationalist, is I don't know, do you want him in charge? That's not the answer. You can see, can't you? Just look at him. It's not the answer, is it? That's not going to solve the problem. Maybe him? No, that won't help. Don't even think about it. Don't waste your time. Daily Mail. David Attenborough, Rise of Animals. It's one of those things where they go, free DVD with tomorrow's mail. Pick it up from Tesco's. If you tell me I'm having a free thing, you better give me that free thing. That should say, we are sending you to Tesco's on a likely futile trip to get a DVD that's already run out. I'm here to collect my DVD. We ain't got it. Oh, come on, man, it's a free DVD in the Daily Mail. Well, that was just one of many lies that they published yesterday. You're not getting one. Woman! Time passes on a woman! Like, they are, as you know, the Daily Mail from their website and everything, they're one of the most prominent, vociferous broadcasters of anxiety around female physicality, right? They're always, the close-ups of cellulite with circles around it. And like now they're sort of like, they're trying to present this as if they're saying, hey, Renee Zellweger is growing old gracefully, but really, this is an opportunity to gawp at a woman. Temporarily, a Hollywood movie star can occupy the role of a god. Look at their virtue, look at their beauty being presented as virtue. But now when she goes into decline, and she inevitably ages, as we all must, we are invited to gawp and roar at the dying Renee Zellweger. Free! Go round Renee Zellweger's house and poke her with a broom handle. Go, you're dying, Renee! You're dying! Look at your wrinkles! Geezer, look at your vag! There's your vag, Renee! Open it up! Geezer, peek! If they were allowed to do that, they would. What would stop them? They would go, well, that's reprehensible. Renee is a human being and we love her as a sister. We're all one. We're connected to Renee. We love her. She is a representation of the same divine energy that makes the trees grow, that makes you love your children, that brings us all together and makes us know peace. That is why we will never get a broom handle or try to inspect her vaginally with it just because it's permitted. They would do it in a trice. Tony Blair and David Cameron, two men who are basically the same, believe basically the same thing, sit near each other, being sort of basically the same. Blair is not my friend, but he can help on the Mideast peace, says PM. Childish nonsense from adult politicians. She feigned AIDS, then she sold her medication. She feigned AIDS, and then she sold her medication. A woman was so desperately poor and in such a terrible situation that she feigned AIDS and sold her medication. Then she feigned AIDS and sold her medication. She was in such a poor and dreadful situation that she feigned AIDS and sold her medication. If someone is feigning AIDS and selling their medication, that is one of the early warning signs that society is not functioning correctly. Don't focus on her, she ain't the problem. The problem is, I live in East London, just over there is the City of London. It's a tax haven within our own actual country. That's what the problem is. Father with 18 children by 10 women says he has human right to 6-bed council house. Again, we're asked to focus on poor people. Poor people is what's taking our money. It's not poor people. Look, if you want to know where all the money's gone, ask people, have you got much money? If the answer is no, hardly any, right? They ain't got it, have they? We've done a circle round a geezer that's causing all your problems. What, this hapless bloke in the front room with his family just trying to get on with life? Yep. Man castrated in revenge attack by gypsy gang. Yeah, gypsies. Actually, the gypsies are a fucking problem. Is there any historical precedent for hating the gypsies leading to any problem? No, I think we're safe to start hating the gypsies. But just hating the gypsies, would that be enough? Well, we could hate. Should we add a couple of other groups to the gypsies hating? Yeah, alright, what about the Jews and homosexuals? Yeah, alright. Gypsies, Jews and homosexuals. But is hating them enough? Well, we'll start with hating them, but could we take any further? Yeah, I suppose so. What could we do? Well, we could like round them up. Having them roaming around disparate like that. Could we concentrate them somehow? Yeah, but where are we going to concentrate them? Could we have some sort of camp? Yeah, okay. Let's get like a sort of a concentration camp. Get the gypsies, gays and Jews all in that. Has anything like this happened before? No, I don't think so. Just Google Daily Mail support Nazi party. See if anything comes back. See what comes back. I don't have an opinion on that. Nurses! Those ungrateful bitches. Remember any time you've ever met a nurse? Yeah? Wasn't they an ungrateful bitch? Yeah, they was actually. Wasn't they an ungrateful, horrible bitch? Yeah, always. What situation were you in? Oh, I was in distress and that. How did they treat you? Graciously, kindly. Should they be paid more money than, say, people whose job is a metaphor in a city? So NHS is being slowly dismantled by the privately owned media because their natural ideological allegiance is with the corporate and commercial world, even if it's not a literal physical allegiance, although there may also be that. You know, there may be conglomerates that universally own media and private healthcare or insurance companies or whatever. But even if there's not a literal link, there's an ideological link, you know, like sort of like a tribal link. So there's a tribal link between politicians, the media and corporations, and that imprisons us in a kind of hell. Dum 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 dum. That was some truths today. That was some truths. Here's some information that might help you to feel better about that. You know you've been born. Yes. You know you're going to die. Yes. Here's some information that might help you to feel better about that. At some point in your growth, it starts to become quieter inside. Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it, rather than all this madness? Yes. This happens quite naturally as you take a deeper seat within yourself. You then come to realise that though you've always been in there, some different self, some truer aspect of yourself that's not attached to things, desiring things and afraid of things, you have been completely overwhelmed by the constant barrage of thoughts, emotions and sensory inputs that draw on your consciousness. As you see this, it begins to dawn on you that you might actually be able to go beyond all these disturbances. The more you sit in the seat of witness consciousness, that means just observing things, like maybe you feel jealous, instead of going, just sort of go, oh God, maybe it will pass, it will just pass like a colour or something. Colours don't pass, but I don't know, it was the wrong example. The more you realise you're completely independent of what you are watching, that there must be a way to break free of the magical hold the psyche has on your awareness. There must be a way out. We can be free of these sensations, the prison of the senses. The senses are just to serve the body is there to serve consciousness, not the other way around. So that's some actual truths for you. Serve your consciousness, remain in peace. Dun, 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 dun. That was some truths today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. How do I? You just click on a thing, you know how, you're already on the internet. I'm not, I'm an old lady being shown this by my grandson. Well, in which case we don't want you subscribing to our YouTube channel. We don't care what happens to you. I don't care if you walk out your house now and are savaged by a pit bull. I don't care. Nah, you can still subscribe now, but it'll still shout with the figures. God, darn, have a nice day.